All right, so it is so good to have all of you on. I thank you so much for taking your time this evening to have this discussion with me about relationships. One of the things that has come to my attention as we have particularly been in this movement lately has been really about this group of people, this age group that all of you happen to fall in, and your definitions and understanding and way of managing your lives, the way that you manage your relationships, the way that you interact and engage to it. I was in a group of researchers, and we were having some discussion about this age group and what things need to happen, where we are, and how valuable relationships happen to be. So with that, I'm going to just start by posing a question after I ask you to just kind of briefly say who you are, give us your name and your age group.
Okay, my bad. Hi, my name is Missy. I'm 27.
What city?
I'm in Lakeland, Florida.
Okay, all right. Next.
Hi, my name is Dzestinee. I'm 24. I'm in Jacksonville.
And I'm 28 in Jacksonville.
Teraney, 27 in Jacksonville.
All right. What are some things that you look for in meaningful friendships?
A good thing. You want to make sure your friends are loyal to you.
Okay. Loyalty, what else?
I would say the ability to grow with one another. If you have somebody who's just stagnant and you're trying to grow, that kind of, I believe, hinders your own personal growth. So I believe the ability to be able to grow, or that person's ability to grow and help you also grow, that's a good quality to have in your life.
Go ahead, Teraney.
I'm going to say consistency.
Okay. All right, how do you define consistency?
Just being someone that you can count on, and, you know, knowing who you're going to get and what you're going to get and what they're going to bring to the table each time. If they're going to be there and be supportive, you know that regardless of what or how long, whatever else they're going to be, that you show up that way. You don't have to wonder, you know, what they're going to be or if they're going to show up, if they're going to come through.
Okay. All right.
I think what I look for the most is somebody who's so like they try to be raised the same, they have the same time. A thought process is something like, you know, business or school or just life. Try to look for the same type of value.
Okay, so Dzestinee, it was kind of hard to hear you, but did I hear you say something around having the same values?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So what does that look like in practice?
I think for me, friendships look like different things.
Yeah, I think.
And my friendships vary depending on the person, you know, and who they are and how we work together. So all of my friends, like I have some friends that I see all the time and we hang out and that sort of thing. I have some friends who I talk to about everything. I have some friends who we don't see each other very often, but, you know, we're still very much connected and talk. So, I mean, make a habit of, or make a point to come through and be there for each other, but it's not a every day, every week kind of thing, so it just depends.
What do you think is most valuable in those kinds of relationships?
I'd say, like, you know, still letting each other know that you know, like you're down for each other. Like, you know, if you have to check up on somebody every once in a while, you may not talk to somebody every so often. You know, everybody has their own lives going on, but when you communicate with your friends, letting them know that, okay, you know, I'm still here for you. I may have had this going on. You want to still include them in your lives when that time may be that you guys aren't always seeing each other or always talking to each other.
Okay. So how do you maintain that kind of a relationship when you don't talk or when you don't communicate? How do you maintain that? What is it that holds that together?
I think it's just knowing.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think it's just having built that level of friendship with somebody. I don't think it's even a thing that I know or a thing that I just know from us being friends for however long or us building whatever friendship. Because, like, for me, I have a friend from high school. That's my best friend. And I don't talk to her every day, same scenario. But I know that I know. So I think it goes with time. It goes with situations, you know, and being tried or tested or just having things come up and knowing that you can count on that person. So I think it just comes with time. And, you know, that level of friendship is something that genuinely you can't do nothing but put time on it, to me, you know.
Okay. All right. What about, go ahead.
I was going to say, you can't always describe it, but it's that original bond that you made, and it's where it got tested at, that 5 years from now, you know, maybe you guys got married and had kids, and you guys don't hang out and go to the mall every day or do whatever, but it's that bond that you guys made that kind of, what is the word I'm looking for? You know, like even when you talk about it like in church, like that sacrament that you guys have with one another, that I guess that foundation, that's what continues on and still helps you deal with the ups and downs and the not talking and talking or the difficulties of life and whatnot.
So what about other relationships? We talked about friendship for a little bit. What about romantic relationships? How are they defined? What's important in there?
I feel like a romantic relationship is simply a friendship that has a lot of times more physical intimacies, or more maybe slightly more emotional intimacies. So it should still be kind of like your friendship. You should still hold, you know, all those things that you hold valuable in a friendship. But you know, you then add things onto it, like, you know, obviously being a bit more intimate physically with that person.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Even being intimate emotionally, though, and mentally, to me, like, I think it steps beyond that. That's where the difference to me in just my best friend and the person that I'm with. The person that I'm with is essentially supposed to be like my best friend. So in my mind, we have that level of friendship. But I agree that it's intimate in a lot of ways, you know, mentally, emotionally, and then you bring the physical aspect in. That I'm maybe a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm maybe a little bit more open, a little bit more honest with my significant other versus, you know, being with somebody who's just my friend, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It makes perfect sense. So in that, is it possible to have romantic relationships or friendships after you've had a romantic relationship with someone?
I think it depends on how the relationship can be defined. I mean, a lot of people are in serious, so that's a little different. But when you have a partner, I think that you guys have to have a different understanding that you have from a friendship, because there are different ways that people date. There are people who just, you know, may be intimate with people, but they may not be emotionally connected to them. And then you have people who are emotionally connected. Maybe the other person isn't. Who knows? But I'm one of those people. When I grew up learning about dating, I was dating to marry. So you do want to marry your best friend and everything, but it can be a little bit hard to continue a relationship afterwards if you date it with that concept.
Okay. All right. Anyone else want to chime in on that? What's important in a romantic relationship, and how does it differ from friendships? And that was the question.
I think the level of honesty is your friend can be friends with somebody else, but your partner is intimate.
You're breaking up just a little bit, and I really want to hear what you said. Can you give it to that again?
I said, somebody else. But your partner is friends with somebody else, you know, partners with somebody else.
Okay. All right. All right. So what I'm hearing you saying is that there's some exclusivity in a romantic relationship that you don't necessarily have in friendships. Now, here's where the next question comes in. We have seen friendships where people didn't want you to be friends with other people. And that became problematic. What is that? How does that happen? Can somebody talk me through that? Like the people who can only have one, you can only have one set of friends. Tell me a little bit about that.
to me, those people usually have, they have an issue within themselves, usually. So either they have an issue with possessiveness, or they have an issue with not feeling as though they're enough. So they're like, oh, you can only be my friend because, you know, if you go hang out with other people, that could jeopardize our friendship, and I'm not going to lose you, so I'm going to just sit here and make it where you can only hang out with me. Blah, blah, blah. So I think that comes from that issue of they are incomplete within themselves, and then they then put that onto their friendships, relationships, what have you.
Okay.
I agree with that. I think that they usually have maybe a toxic trait about them that is where so it's like, if I can't have you, nobody else can. How people do in relationships,
right?
And they like she said, they feel possessive, or they're usually like very needy, to where they want that person to not be able to give themselves to anybody else but them.
I get it. So how do those play out? Those kind of toxic friendships, how do they normally play out?
I've seen a lot of people stay friends for no reason, and they had better friends who were the other friends. But some people look at how long you've been friends with somebody, and they take that into account. But you can't always take the length of time for the quality of time.
Right. Anyone else want to chime in?
I just think sometimes people don't know how to process what true friendship looks like. I had a friend that we're been best friends for years. And when we first became close friends, and, you know, this is my best friend, it was a problem because I only have one best friend. But I think once she got to processing what friendships look like, and then all different friendships offer different things, I think that changed the dynamic of it, and it changed her thought process on it. I just think some people can't process what true friendship really is.